Pasha Pablo, YNet7. Thank you for tuning. The replay. I appreciate your time. Appreciate you being here. We're going to get into it. One moment. All right, so one thing I do is I spend a lot of time studying people, right? And because when you reach a certain point in your studies of consciousness and learning about what's going on in the back end of society or behind the scenes, and the effects that it has on people and stuff like that, a lot of people often will want you to conform, hence the normative social influence factors. And you lose a lot of, well, I ain't gonna say lose, but you gain a lot of openings in your friend list when you're serious about shit, because I said it before, people play too much, and we're coming into a time where the people that are seriously focused on making changes are becoming increasingly disgusted with society as a whole, right? For various reasons, whether they realize what they're actually feeling or not. You may have went to a protest. You may have contested, certain things. The actual remedy, though, what is the remedy, is what we need to focus on. So I spend a lot of time studying people because, one, you get to test, theories and stuff. And for me lately, what I've been doing is, because I'm not emotional, like, our emotions are supposed to be triggers for us to have responses, right? And when I say I'm not emotional, what I mean is not that I don't sense emotion. It's that I understand that it's a signal and a sign, and then that gives you an opportunity to respond to whatever you need to respond to. All right? Often I see people just react, which is a whole different conversation that we've talked about here on the channel in part, many occasions. So a lot of why we're where we're at with everything that people are complaining about, from the ships out to sea and shortage of this or that, all the way up to anything else you want to add on the list, is really all due to people wanting to laugh. And I was reminded about that the other day. There was a post on someone's page. Someone put a post on their page, and I responded to it. I said it was meant to be humorous, I guess. The post wasn't really funny, but people laugh at anything nowadays because they're addicted to laughter and they don't know why. But we're going to break it down. And so I said to them, I said, hey, look, all the technology we have at our fingertips, that could give us access to all the knowledge or wisdom in the world, and this is what we come up with, right? Because it was kind of like, finding, even though they weren't handicapped, the nature of what the humor was kind of like laughing at a handicapped person, right? Just to give you and we've seen this a lot. I'm sure you could, I'm trying to uh, really, really um, manage the people around me. Like, not manage them as in, as in what you're doing, but make sure I have an idea of who you are and what you're about and what you represent and what you stand for. And I'm really paying close attention to that because you being around me is going to be a reflection of that. Or if you're in some incompatible shit, you're not gonna like me. So why even waste our time, right? Why even pretend? Like, before I ask someone to invest in me, right, I usually want to make sure that we're a good they're a good candidate. You know what I mean? And I've had a few opportunities where I go in and I investigate the person and I'm like, I don't want to be a part of this. So it's at that point it's no longer relevant if you want to invest in me or not, because I don't want to be cross invested with you. All right? And that's nothing personal. It's just we're going two different directions. Why are we going to pretend anything different and then act surprised 2 years down the road when something blows up between us that we knew in the beginning? Like, that's why a lot of relationships fail, because people get with each other for convenience, or because they like this 20% or the 80%, and they try to overlook the 20% that they don't like. But eventually you just get tired of shit. All right? So what it was an amazing opportunity. And because their response was that, blah, 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 and people need to laugh to keep from crying. And I received that from the source, and me being me, I took some time to think about it. And the more I thought about it, I was like, I've heard that before. I've talked to people about that in the past. And I went and had some conversations over the next few days where things that we were talking about reminded me of that post. And I brought up, the nature of the post and talked about it and got, some more feedback. And it's just really surprising how people accept that blindly and they don't understand the ramifications of it. So let's take a look at this, right? What I want to go over first of all, because it sounds so innocent. You see the title, laughter is the best medicine, somebody told you, and now you're addicted. You're addicted to painkillers. I'm going to show you how, right? And I'm not saying you out there like popping pills. Maybe some of you are. But I'm going to show you how you're still addicted to painkillers, all right? And this is the danger of not being self-aware. Because, I got people I can tell you right now that are like, they don't fool with me because I'm too serious. Or they don't fool with me because every time they want to talk about something, I'm just like, not because like I'm a hater or nothing, but because they're trying to make jokes all the time, and I'm just sitting there like, okay, well, one, it don't always be funny, you know what I mean? But because people want to laugh, they just yeah, right? Gremlins type bullshit, sounding like a bunch of gremlins out there, and I'm just looking at them because part of the issue is that once you reach a certain level of consciousness, like, you can't unlearn that shit. I look back on my life, man, and when I had the most people swarming around me, contacting me on a regular basis, wanting to be around, wanting to know what's up, this, that, and the other, it was before it was before the knowledge came. It was my early 20s, because I started learning shit in my mid 20s. And by that time, people were like, "Oh shit, he talking about you don't need a driver's license. That weirdo. We're gonna get away from him. We don't need a driver's license to operate our car. We don't want to be seen with him." You know what I mean? They don't understand that you put in a lot of time and effort researching this stuff. You know what I mean? To them, they just want to laugh and you're too serious, right? But see, while they were laughing at you 10 years ago when you were saying, hey, do this, do that, do this, you know, now they're crying, right? Because they're like, oh my God, Christmas is going to be ruined because they won't let the ships in. What? That means you don't know what Christmas is. That means you still celebrating corporate holidays. That means you waited all year to give gifts. I mean a whole bunch of errors, right? But we're the weirdos. Okay? So that's how you gotta look at that shit. That's the problem with beliefs without knowledge of. But let's get into why this is why this may be something, because the reason I'm bringing this video to you, and you know, unfortunately, and this is why so I went back to the post because it was only it was like 2 or 3 days ago, maybe 4 days ago. I went back to the post, or I went to look for the post so I could get a screenshot of it. And you guys know how I do here. Excuse me, on Why That 7. I'll get the post, and even though I know the person or they know me or whatever, or we don't know each other, it don't matter. I block the name out and I use the post because what I'm trying to illustrate is the emotional attachments people have to beliefs, right? It's one thing for me to sit up here and say A, B, and C, right? It's another thing for me to show you, well, here's someone that you can relate to. And then this is why that's an error. And here's the pros and the cons. I don't normally come to you with just one-sided shit. I give you the full infinity. Okay? But a lot of this shit that we're covering on Why That 7, you got the ignorant people. Ignorant just meaning the not aware, or I'm not gonna say they're blind. Okay, they're blind to certain things. The ones that are just following whatever the government tells them, or their government tells them. You know, the United States and all this stuff. What they're doing is they're setting up everybody else for destruction. And see, it's coming to a point where the people that are aware are tired of like right now. You know what I mean? If they come and say, hey, you got to get a chip. You know, how everybody's been told they're going to put a chip in you one day. So they come to you tomorrow and say, you got to get a chip. I know some of y'all going to be like, you don't want the chip. But guess what? Because there's people out there that's going to think the chip is good, you're going to be subject or even in the ballpark to try and be forced into taking it. Why? Because we got some idiots out here that don't fucking know no better, and they're going to go along with the shit. Right? And then they're going to be looking at you because it's democracy and a mob rule to them. They don't understand that there's a republic, so they totally blind to that shit. And then they're going to be trying to force you to get the chip because they think they're supposed to have it. Sounds familiar, right? So this is part of the problem. All right? So this is why this stuff is becoming more and more important. This is why people are becoming more and more distant. Not because of nothing else with no titles or nothing. Meaning, you know, going on right now. But let's take a look at this, right? Because I want to show you how it affects. And when I mean laughter, I mean if you're working on a project, or you working on something, or you happen to be with your peoples and y'all talking about something and y'all, hey, ha ha ha, that was funny. That's one thing. That's not what I'm talking about. All right. However, if you seek out to always have to be funny, or you're always looking for the funniness in something to laugh at, or you can't have a serious conversation about something serious because it's too serious for you, these are some of the symptoms of you being addicted to painkillers. You might as well go ahead and pop some pills. I mean, at least then maybe you could be serious about some shit while you're on the pill. All right? But so I went back to look for the post so I could get the screenshot, and they deleted the post because my comment seemed to make, and it's what I'm saying right now. If you on my page and you know you don't like me, just leave the page, man. Like what the? Because I might comment on your shit and then you're not gonna like what I say. And it's not gonna be my fault. It's gonna be the fact that you sit up here pretending that you can deal with this and you can't. So you wasting everybody's time, and then you becoming a impasse from somebody else on your end, receiving the information that would have appreciated and been able to learn from it because of your judgment call on what you believe about something that you said, even though you may be blind to reality. So you wasting everybody's time. Okay? So right now, if you're on my page, because you know how I get, I deleted thousands of people and went down to 0 because of this saying bullshit. It's not like you're really my friends anyway, but we're trying to network and do some stuff on certain levels, and if that's the case, then so be it. But if you just here trying to spy or just here so you can have one more number of friends so you can look cool or something, then don't waste my time, man. Just get off my page. Straight up. All right. So they deleted the shit, talking about all this, some bullshit. You know, everybody got something that sound good to them. But I'm like I said, so at that point, if you're gonna delete something I put on your page, then you know what? I gotta delete you, because like I just said, I'm not gonna play this game with you. I'm not gonna argue with you. I'm not gonna debate you. I'm not gonna look. I'm gonna talk to you. You know, fine. Peace. It's a waste of my time. I don't need a number to say I'm valued. I don't need to have 5,000 people. You know what I mean? Like I said, I deleted like 2,400 at one time. So anyway, let's take a look at this, because you guys, not you, a lot of you out there actually, you know, understanding where information comes from and can do your own research and stuff like that as well. So you guys, I appreciate you, because when I say something, it's not that you're looking at it like Pasha said this. It's that you're going to go and research it yourself and be like, yo, I'm glad Pasha brought that up, because I'd have never known that. Now I can change my life. I can change the life of people around me. All this shit. So I went and I got this little article here to, let me see here, where my tab at, to illustrate what I'm talking about here. All right, so it says when you chortle. See, I laugh so little. I don't even know what chortle is. Like, I would have to go look that up right now. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. Okay, but that's how little, you know what I mean, I probably seek laughter. Like I'm saying, I'm not saying if you just talk about something, you have a moment, haha, cool, boom, and you move on. But there's you know what I'm talking about. There's some people that they won't, if you too serious, they're not gonna want to be around you, because this is why. Hold on, let me get to it. Excuse me. So it says, when you chortle or giggle, when the laughter does not have a high intensity, there is no extra strain on the diaphragm as it functions at the normal rate. However, the moment your giggle turns to a goof off, I don't know none of these words. Like, I've never heard goof off before. I heard goof off, like goofing off. Maybe this is what they were saying, and I was just thinking it was like GOOF, like goofy, and off, like OFF. But okay, so anyway, goof off. Things change. All right, so maybe I'm in this category of the cynics, and you might this is probably what happened. I know this. I've been called miserable before, and I just laugh at that. I'll laugh at, but it's because, again, they don't understand what they don't understand what their addiction is, and you know, it is an addiction. That's the thing. So let's get to it. So, except for the cynics and truly miserable who fail to find any amusement in life, you know, and that's the thing. Like, my amusement is in the truth. You know, I'm entertained by the truth, and you know, so a lot of people are, and this is why they're calling them miserable. But you know, I talked to them, and I wanted to hear why they did it, as far as why they removed the post first, and they told me, and you know, it was just a bunch of like emotional BS, man. That makes them a gatekeeper. You know what I mean? They're trying to censor. This censorship shit is getting out of control. It's so bad. People this. This is why. This is why some of your groups have certain titles, and then you go into the group and they're in there. It's supposed to be a serious group talking about serious shit, and you get in there and they're talking about shit that's just bullshit because they want to laugh. It's like you can't even have a serious fucking group because people are addicted to fucking painkillers. I mean, in the sense of laughter, it's ridiculous. And then they're crying later because now they got something else to cry for later on because this was never healed in them. And what I told him was that, hey, why not? Because they said, hey, some people are actually wanting to laugh so they can keep from crying. And I was like, well, how about whatever happened to looking at what makes you want to cry and fix that? Eliminate the problem instead of trying to use laughter as a Band-Aid. That's the same thing. Anyway, so instead of treating the symptoms, cure the shit. No real response to that because that makes sense, right? All right. So except for the cynics and truly miserable who fail to find any amusement in life, everyone loves a good laugh. And except for they're using the word love as a verb. That's true. Like we talked about, you may be in the middle of working on a whatever, and your team does something funny, you laugh. Boom, it's funny for that second. All right, we moving on. All right, but everywhere you go, every place you work, there's always that one clown that's what they known for, laughter. And then they get the attention, and people give them attention, and they think they're everybody thinks that they're cool, but they're really a fool. I mean, that's what it really is. So we seek comedians, funny movies, and memes that can make us laugh until we cry, or even make us laugh so hard that we lose control. If that's you, okay, cool, of your bladder, right? So clearly, laughter has many effects on us, and we're willing to deal with them because the pleasure we get from a good, hearty laugh is such a wonderful feeling. See what I mean? You already sound like an addict, right? Just replace it with we clearly getting high has many effects on us, and we're willing to deal with them because of the pleasure we get from a good high. Such a wonderful feeling. Like, all right, I'm gonna show you though. I always show you the facts. So in fact, laughter has several health benefits from reducing stress. Remember, this is temporary. And you don't reduce stress. If you go back to the video I did on, I think it was called Quit Your Job, Doctor's Orders. And in there I illustrate from the medical world how increased levels of cortisol in your blood, in your body, doesn't dissipate. Your body adds another chemical to it to kind of match it, to mask the effect. But that means that you if you built this much up, it's still there. And you're supposed to have as little as possible in you, right? So the more you build up, your body kind of masks it so it can keep going and make it through. But you still have the effects of having your level this high, which is why whole systems shut down in your body. Digestive system, you got digestive issues. They telling you, you got ulcers and shit like that. You know what I mean? Cardiac system, nervous system, shit going on with you, and you're wondering what's going on. This is what caused it in a lot of cases. All right, so the stress doesn't get reduced. It doesn't go away. It gets masked. And improving blood circulation to boosting immunity. And we will cover all these points in this article. Okay? So it's saying laughter is universal and unifying, which is part of the problem. Or part of the opportunity, rather. Because so many people are unified on laughing, but we can't get unified on anything fucking serious. It helps break the ice, and it's notoriously contagious. See my point? So now people want to break the ice with it. They want to be known to be the funny person. They're going to get invited everywhere because they're funny. Ha 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 ha. And meanwhile, society continues to crumble because everybody want to fucking laugh instead of doing anything about some shit. If you see a person or a group of people laughing, the odds are high that you might also join the laughter train. Like I said, I'll be the one standing there looking at all of them like, well, what's so funny? And I ask them, and they normally don't tell me because they know I'm not going to say normally don't tell me, but a lot of times, you know, some people don't even tell me because they know I ain't going to find this shit funny. That kind of means that it probably wasn't funny. So why are you laughing? Because you're addicted. Or because they're addicted. And if this ain't you, you know there's a person around you that this is exactly what you see. And I'm going to tell you the effect of why they're like that and the effect it has on you. It actually has. Laughter has the whole world stagnant right now. Because we'll seek laughter before we seek change. Maybe I should call this video that. All right, so laughing along helps us cope with our worries, even if it's only for a moment. See, this is the bullshit. Remember I was telling you, I was saying how they'll, knowing that it's temporary, and they'll still, like, they'll get in a relationship, and knowing they don't like this, knowing they can't stand it, and then really expecting it to last like a long time, it's not gonna do it. It's not gonna happen. You're gonna defeat yourself. You're gonna quit. You're gonna be upset, and you're gonna get out of that relationship. So the same thing here. It's only for a moment. So you go through all that laughter. It masks the feeling, and this is what I'm getting at. Why does it mask the feeling of what you're going through? Why does it have many effects on us? What is it? Like, you know. All right, so let's get back to it. So it says it creates a sense of lightness and reduces the burden of stress. Isn't that what a drug does? Alters your reality, right? You got the alcoholic, you got the people who smoke everything, anything. I'm not saying one person smoking everything, but I'm saying whatever it is that you smoke. You know what I mean? Like you get off work, because you got to change that mood, right? You got to reduce the burden. You got to escape the reality. But you can't escape the reality because you're in it, and you got to come back to it as soon as that effect wears off. So why not just go ahead and change the reality? But y'all too busy laughing at. They're too busy laughing at people like us because we would actually rather change the environment so that we wouldn't have to feel that way in the beginning. Right? You see how dumb that sounds? So and that says that's why so many hospitals and military bases invite comedians to make the ambience lighter and joyful. And so one of the people I was talking to, before I found out they deleted the post, before I found out they robbed their community of being able to digest some new information and possibly enlighten people. You know, I was talking to someone. I said, hey, when I'm going to break down to you, and I broke it down to them in a short form, because for them, we can talk. They don't need me to show scientific proof, but this thing for you here that we can talk like that is more so for the people that's going to be on the fence and need to see it for themselves so they can do further research. And I asked them at the end, I said, now that you understand it like this, what's really going on, does that change the way you view your craving to want to laugh about stuff? And they had no choice but to be like, honestly, yes, it does. Knowledge is power, people. And we gotta, before we can change anything in the environment, before you can stand up to what you think is your government, before you can go to court and present your own case, you gotta be really in control of your own emotions. You gotta know yourself. And if you don't even know yourself to the point of you don't know why you want to laugh, then that shows you know all this other shit. If you can tell me how many points so and so scored last night in the NBA game, but you can't tell me the truth about yourself, I don't want you. Go ahead and unfriend me. Don't listen to my music. I don't want you to be a fan because you're not who I'm talking to. You're never gonna understand the words to begin with. All right. So I mean, let's just get that clear right now. I'm trying to do some growth here, and the reason I don't, how I want to say it, fuck it. Look, I'll tell you this story. I was talking to a publicist about getting a bio done and shit like that, right? And in their explanation of some things, they were like, hey, look, you want to do it like this because this will be easier for them. And my natural response to the publicist was, I don't want it to be made easier for them because I don't want people. I don't want to be associated with the people that want everything to be easy. I'm not saying you got to make everything hard, but I'm saying I don't want to be associated with the people that want everything to be easy, because as soon as it does get hard, they're not going to stick through that. They're not going to be here with me. I purposely leave my shit a little bit the way I do because you want me to work, you're going to have to work too. Now, some of y'all are just going to naturally get it and that's because you already put the work in. Everywhere I go, they tell me ain't no free rides. But you see all these people, they want to give you shit. They want to make it easy for you. And that only helps make you weaker. Then when someone, that makes your attention span too short. Then when someone bring you some good shit, but you got to put some effort into it, you're going to miss out on it because you ain't never had to work for that before. Yeah, if you don't understand my song, it's probably because you don't know what the words mean. You hear the words, you think you know, but they probably don't know what the words mean. So you know what I need them to do? I need them to either don't worry about it, or I need them to go ahead and figure it out. And if you're not going to put the effort in to figure it out, then guess what? That means you're not going to put the effort in to figure yourself out. That means you're not going to put the effort in to know who you really are. That means you're not going to put any effort in to know where you came from. You're not going to put any effort in to realize you might not be a driver. That's the problem. So that's not the people I'm looking for. All right? I done been up and down the turnpike with Jersey Turnpike with large amounts of whatever you could think of. I'm not gonna say whatever, but with half of what you can think of. You know what I'm saying? I done lived that life. That's why I don't have to talk about it in my music. Everybody's not lucky enough to live through the things that I have and still be here with gray hair to talk about it. So why would I glorify it for you to and your sons or daughters to go and make the same mistake? Now, granted, I understand that when you want some weed, some smoke, it's great that somebody has it. Now, on the flip side of things, I understand that there's a whole economy based off crack that's indirectly, tied to crack. You know what I'm saying? Like, where else you gonna get a big screen TV for $20 for? You know what I'm saying? Like back in the day, that only comes up because of that stuff exists. Now there's pros and cons to everything, but I'm not gonna be the, you got to make your own choices there. So, I've been in 4 police chases. So I said that shit was easy. That's part of basically why I don't have any felony record, because we used to race all the time in our cars. We used to pull up. I pull up in a 97 Chevy Cavalier 2-door. Oh, no, that's what you got? Yeah. All right, come on, let me get my shit. We gonna race it. And half the neighborhood go get their cars. We race all the way to Philly, hop off the highway, turn around, race back. That's how we grew up. So by the time you had the high-speed chase with the cop, you were just doing what you already been practicing for every day. I don't care if you're going to the mall, we doing 100 miles an hour plus. So when I see people tell me, oh my God, you're doing 100, I'm like, damn, we was doing that to go around the corner for the store. Fuck's wrong with them? So that shit was easy. When you decide you want to change the world, when you decide you want to do some real shit, that easy gets thrown the fuck out the window. It ain't easy, it's hard. All right, back to it. So, why does my stomach hurt when I laugh? Okay, now we're getting into it. So, when we laugh, our whole body gets involved. Jaw, brain, torso, lungs, even your blood vessels get into the action. So, we ha ha ha, he he he, ho ho ho, and our vocal cords start vibrating. Right? And we laugh harder. And it says we exhale more rapidly. And it says because of this, right, our rib cage starts to contract, which can trigger sharp pain in the intercostal muscles, located between the ribs. In fact, intercostal muscles are jokingly referred to as the hurts to laugh muscle in the medical lexicon. All right, so thus the ache in your stomach, right? Look at this, ache, pain, okay? In your stomach when you laugh extremely hard is due to the rapid exercising of the diaphragm below the lungs and just above the stomach, leading to pain in the intercostal muscles. The smaller cortals and giggles are easier. I still don't know I've never seen that word before. If you've ever called your laugh a chortle or a chortle or however the hell it's pronounced, let me know in the comments below. So, are easier on the diaphragm so it continues to function normally. All right, but as soon as the giggle turns into a goof off, to see, that's what I'm saying. Like, I laugh. I'm not anti-laughing. I'm saying if it's your only focus, it's a problem. The diaphragm tenses up, the rib cage contracts, and the muscles get a solid workout. It pushes the air out from the bottom of the lungs, which is why laughter is such a good aerobic exercise. So I guess this is like a picture of everything that, when you start laughing all hard for too long, all this stuff is being jolted around and affected in some way, shape, or form. But anyway, that's human organs, right? It does affect your brain because you're going to be thinking you feel better because we're going to get to what your brain does in response to it. But all right, so according to a study on the physical effects of laughter, uncontrollable howls of laughter can help you burn a few calories. The study, because it's got some good stuff to it on one side, like I said, but I'm going to tell you what the negative side is. I like to always entertain the infinity because that's how you remain true instead of opinionated. People always try and say, oh, well, thank you for your opinion. No, this ain't opinion. This is the infinity. And you have an opinion because you're narrow-minded and narrow-focused. So you don't see the whole infinity. Or they don't see the whole infinity. So to put it another way, if you laugh for 15 minutes, you could burn 10 calories. That's like 3% of a pound or something, right? I don't know. But and they give you some little example of what it mean, what is connected to chocolate and some rate of exchange there. So laughter is a excessive stress buster, but it's not a stress resolver. All right, that's what I'm getting at. So it says when we laugh. Now we're getting into what I wanted to show y'all. So when we laugh, happy hormones, aka painkillers, right? No, seriously, called endorphins are released. these feel good chemicals, right? These feel good chemicals are not only these feel good chemicals not only help relieve emotional pain, but also physical and psychological pain. Laughter improves respiration. All right, so it gives you some shit that it supposedly does good for you. Gets out the old lung air, and that's stale, and puts in new air. But this is what I really want to focus on right here, and this is why they didn't spend a lot of time on it. Because if you're a thinker, if you're a critical thinker, or if you're just thinking, sometimes maybe if you smoking a L or a blunt right now, and I said that, you was like, you know what, that does sound happy hormones. Feel good chemicals. Like if you went to your doctor and they told you they was gonna give you some happy hormones, what do you think you ready to get? If you went to your doctor and they said, "Don't worry, we got some feel good chemicals for you," what would you say to them? So not only help relieve the emotional pain, but also the physical and psychological pain. So when you laugh, your body basically releases. That's why I call it a painkiller. That's why when I talk to people about this, because I've been talking about it for years to people that's close to me. That's probably why they don't want to laugh around me. But this is what happens. So it's killing your emotional pain, any physical pain, and any psychological pain. So guess what happens? It's absolutely comparable to painkillers. Because soon as that feeling, that numbness subsides, guess what you get hit with again? The reality of the pain of everything that you're living with in life. So then what do you need to do again? You need to numb it some more. So if you're unconscious of and uncontrol of your emotions and can't handle that basic shit, that means you need to go laugh some more. So now you're in a cycle of needing to seek and find laughter, just like you're an addict looking for the dealer for the next fix. This is why you don't want to be around serious people, because you can't spend 2 hours with them because you're not going to laugh in those 2 hours. You're not guaranteed to laugh in those 2 hours. So your body is saying we're going to need a fix every 16 to 20 minutes. So this is going to be a nightmare to spend 2 hours with a motherfucker that's really serious most of the time. I need to go be around so and so because they're gonna make me laugh. They're gonna make me feel good. I'm gonna forget the emotional pain I'm in, and I'm gonna go back to it after I laugh, because I can keep going back to the pain as long as I get to laugh to numb it every now and then, instead of just removing myself from the emotional pain, instead of removing yourself from the people that are causing pains in you emotionally. You're in an abusive relationship in some way, shape, or form and don't know it, because every Friday you guys watch a comedy movie on Netflix. And that abusive relationship don't mean it's somebody in your household. Maybe it's your job. Maybe it's your relationship with the law. Maybe it's you thinking you're a citizen or some other title. Maybe you grown up and everybody called you black, so you're thinking all the emotional pain you have from your emotional attachments to beliefs about that, and so now you need to find laughter, because laughter is better than changing the environment. It's easier. So I don't want easy people. I'm not looking for easy people. So then your physical and your psychological, anything that's painful, you won't feel for a period of time if you laugh long enough. All right. So let's go here real quick, and then I'll get out of here for y'all. I'll get y'all out of here. I'm gonna still be here learning more shit. So let me show you what it's comparable to. So one of the most frequent reasons people go to the doctor is pain relief, and it says there are a number of different drugs that can ease pain. About 20% of people will get a medication called an opioid. All right. You can also hear your doctor call it an opiate or a narcotic. All right. So these pain relievers are made from opium, which comes from the poppy plant. Morphine and codeine are the two natural products of opium. So right now, what I need you to do is I need you to think to yourself. And if someone said, here, I don't care if it's your doctor, I don't care if it's your neighbor, I don't care if it's the neighborhood pusher, and they say, here, I got some opioids for you. Don't worry, you're going to feel better. What they say over here? Don't worry, man. I'm going to take care of all your emotional pain. Oh, no, don't worry. I'm going to take care of all your physical pain. Just take two of these. No. Don't worry about that psychological shit you feeling. Just pop this opioid. I got some morphine for you. Some codeine. Some fentanyl. Some heroin. Some hydrocodone. Some hydromorphone, right? Some methadone. Some meperidine. Oxycodone. Or oxycodone. And all that shit. If you ever in your life judged anybody or had something negative to say for seeing a drug bust on TV, for fentanyl, for talking about someone else for shooting up heroin, for if you knew what hydrocodone was and you had something negative to say about that, if you know someone that's gone to a methadone clinic and you frowned your face at them, if you know anybody that asked you if you got some Oxycontin, if you looked at someone funny because you thought they might be on morphine, codeine, or any other opioid, you ain't no different. You ain't no different. Your version of this shit is just unregulated by the Food and Drug Administration. These people are at least honest with themselves enough to know and tell themselves that they need something. You or that person that you're thinking about when you're seeing this video, they may not be aware that they're a fentanyl hit. Because you can't necessarily OD on laughter. They don't understand that they feel in the same way people do on heroin. So it says here, misuse. These drugs are generally safe when you take them for a short time and prescribed by your doctor, right? But in addition to helping you manage the pain, it can also give you a feeling of well-being or euphoria. So the problem is you're having a feeling. What's wrong with having a feeling of well-being at a moment when you shouldn't? You don't react or respond. So that's how people laugh at you 10 years ago for saying, hey, China shouldn't own America's seaports. And people laugh at you, and now they're crying now because they concerned that their Christmas won't be right. Their Thanksgiving won't be right. Because, they had a feeling of well-being at the wrong time. Why? Because they had access to laughter. So what you was talking about, they didn't want to hear. Turn on the comedy show. Ha 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 ha. Let's laugh. We feeling good. So for years, they used terms like opioid abuse, drug dependence, drug addiction interchangeably. It says, but the guidelines doctor used to diagnose these issues no longer contain the terms abuse or dependence. Your doctor will look for these symptoms if they think you have opioid use disorder. We covered disorders in a previous video. Go look at that. So take the drug thought process out of it, right? And put in laughter and substitute these. So if using more of the drugs or using them longer than intended, you may have the disorder. So if you're seeking laughter all the time and you gotta be laughing all the time, you have a disorder. Can't control or cut down the use, you got a disorder. Spend lots of time finding laughter or recovering from the use, you got a disorder. Have a strong desire or urge to laugh, you got a disorder. Like I said, some shit don't even be funny. I mean, you could be like, okay, I get it. And that's what people don't understand. It's not I don't get the joke. Like, I get it. It's just like, just wasn't funny. Like, every joke ain't funny. But because you're looking for a reason to laugh, it just, the floodgates come out of the dumbest shit. Anything. Just give me an opportunity. So I can roll on the floor laughing, and when somebody else will probably say, hey, what's so funny? I want to laugh too. Right? Despite legal or social problems. Bam. One of the biggest ones. Legal and social problems. 80% of what people complain about is a legal or social problem. People like us are doing things to try and make that different for the future. The people that we're referring to in this video, they don't want to be around us or support this because it's too hard. And they're easy. They want to laugh. They're looking for the next fix. It ain't here. Stop or cut down important activities. Now, see, if you got legal or social problems, important activities would be remedying those problems, working to fix those issues in society. So as long as we can flood the society with opportunities to laugh, and that's why you look at the shit now, and with the short attention span of, and TikTok and shit, the shit's just getting dumber and dumber and dumber. I mean, I'm not saying there's some really good comedian or comedic people out there that really take time and create a really well structured setup and punchline and joke and all this stuff. And we know we got the copycats that are just telling jokes they heard. They don't have no original bones in their body. But what I'm talking about is that's one thing when you're studying a craft, and I understand that we talked about the benefits of laughter in society. You know what I mean? I can't say that I've never been to a comedy show before. I'm just saying, like, that's just not something that, I need to have. It's not to say if you don't make me laugh or if you're talking serious shit for too long, I'm going to get upset with you. Or I'm going to try to avoid you. I'm going to welcome your ass. Like, word, we can get shit done. Because you're not weak. So, stop or cut down important activities. So now we still have the same social problems and legal problems as we did for the last 80 years because laughter's free. Legal resolution is going to cost you at least time to understand the law, if not more. Social problems is going to cost you friends and family because you're not going to be cool anymore if you start trying to resolve social problems. So the people that are laughing with you now, guess what? They're not going to want to be around you if you're starting to do this because you're going to be changing shit, and that's like, sounds too much like work. And they spend a lot of time looking for their drugs, like up here, like the laughter, and then they got to recover from the laughter, which is why there's legal and social problems still today. So, and that piggybacks right into here. Use despite physical or mental problems. So remember what it said up here? It's going to relieve emotional pain, physical and psychological pain. So you never really get to heal yourself because you're too busy numbing yourself. These are the conversations we need to have with those people. Because they're part of the destruction of society. And I'm not saying we should go up to 50,000 feet and drop, an atomic bomb on them or anything. I'm just saying we're not going to resolve legal and social problems until we reach a critical mass of serious motherfuckers. Then you become tolerant to, like any other drug. Guess what? Your tolerance builds up. Guess what that means? You need more of the drug or need to take it more often for the same effect. Because your mental problems ain't changed. Your physical problems ain't changed. Your social problems ain't changed. Your legal problems ain't changed. In most cases, they're getting worse. So now you need even more than more because you're trying to catch up with the inflation rate of your physical and mental abuse that you're dealing with. And then you have withdrawals like any other drug. So, no, it's not that I'm against laughter. It's that I want all people to be educated consumers. I'm Pasha Paro. It's Y97. Thank you for tuning in. The replay.